Hello, 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 hello. You're all welcome. Wherever you are watching from, you are welcome. And today is my special gift for you. I decided to give this gift because I was informed that today is Valentine's Day. But my business conversation stays very important. And of course, we want to use this platform to still share tips and tricks and, of course, business techniques, strategies to be able to succeed in business. And so I thought of what would I give if I do not give you money? On the Valentine's Day like this, and if I can't give you any special material, then something more wonderful could be, of course, knowledge. And that's why I decided to share with you this time and as my Valentine's gift. I remember today in the morning, I really forgot about this day that is a Valentine's Day. My husband came and when he was wishing me some good stuff, and then I said, "Oh no, no, not Valentine. It is Vera's Day. So you can put your name on that day instead of Valentine. Put your name on that day because you too, you do an amazing job. You do great things, and so put your name on that. That it is your day." And a day that you have chosen to love people. Love is a very, very complex conversation because it has to do with different areas of life and we have different kinds of love. And so you will want to really understand what kind of love we are talking about today, right? Is it about the agape love that Jesus Christ died on the cross of Calvary for you and for me? That the very first day when you were created and somehow God knew that you were going to fall short of the glory of God. And so he decided to make a second plan, the redemption plan. So he could send his only begotten son, so that if you will believe in him, you will not perish, but have, of course, life and life everlasting. And this for me is the ultimate love. Love that I did not pay for. Love that comes not because I had to show proof of it, not because I am beautiful, not because I did anything. Love that is really, really agape, based on nothing but just mercy. What an amazing love! That a man so loved me that he gave his only life for me, his only begotten son, that if I will believe in that love, that I may have everlasting love. This is amazing love for me. And then, of course, we have the unconditional love of parents. And then we have the love of husband, wife. I think most people want to put it only in this erotic love of partnership, wife and husband. uh well, anyone, the way you want to put it, it is in your hands to choose and to decide. But for me today, I choose to give you this time so you can also ask your questions. I don't know, maybe you are there listening to me, you're welcome. You have a question, then you can ask. And so I said, and I titled the topic of today, if knowledge is power, then the application of knowledge is your superpower. I don't know if you understand what superpower is, but I tell you, the superpower is more than just power. So if knowledge is power, then if you apply knowledge, it is a superpower. So today we're just going to have a section of called questions and answering. If you have any question, just bring down your questions, ask your questions. It could be from any areas of life, so we can talk about it. But of course, because it's a business conversation, hey, I would like us to stay on conversation on businesses. Maybe you want to start up your own organization and you are thinking, oh, it's too difficult. I just can't start up my own organization in Germany. It's so difficult. Hey, this is a time you can ask your questions. It is my gift to you to give you the tricks, the tips that are involved, and maybe you can start up your own. You may realize that it's not really that difficult as you may think. Maybe you just want to understand the difference between a profitable and a not profitable business, here we can talk about it also. So do not hesitate. If you have any questions, you can share. You can, of course, ask any questions related to love. Who knows? Maybe I could also have some information on that and we could share. But today it's time. It's just question and answer session. And I'm very grateful to see all of you. Thank you very much. I can see Mesmin Mwafo. Thank you so much. Marie De Caro, thank you very much. And she says, thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for your too much love that you're showing for to me. And I appreciate that. It is a love that we can really not buy. And so unconditional love. Thank you. And I'm seeing my little girl is saying, Happy Vera Day. Thank you. You got the picture, my girl. Thank you. I'm so happy. Happy Vera Day and happy Princess Hope Day. God bless you. Happy love that God blesses you wherever you are. And then we have Maxman Moore for saying, Hello, you come, sister. Thank you very much, brother. God bless you. Thank you so much. Let's go back to the conversation and ask us the question again. If we say knowledge is power, right, then you understand that, of course, the application of knowledge is your superpower. What does this mean? The application of knowledge. If you understand what I mean, the application of knowledge, let's share our ideas. Just give your comments below and let's get the conversation interactive. What do you understand? What do you think? When I say if knowledge is power, then the application of knowledge is your superpower. What is that for you? What is that? Just leave your comments below and let's have this conversation rolling, right? And while you're thinking about it, let me also continue the conversation. And so I wanted to also find out today if you want to start a own conversation, if you want to share your own experiences with me, do not also hesitate. And then feel free to come in. We have also the link that I've put below. Just get in and then we can also have this conversation. You can join me on the broadcast and then we can have this conversation also rolling. So if you have a question, you can join me on the broadcast or you can still ask your question here. So the link for the broadcast is also here that I also put. You can see the link there too. So you can just join me on the broadcast. That's the link. If you want to join, then you can join me in the broadcast and we can have the conversation rolling. Right? So thank you very much for you who is here. Now, I have a question while waiting that you also bring your own questions. I have a questions that I always prepare. Somehow we say always get prepared because you never know how it's going to look like, right? So the question is, do you want to create your own institution, social institution, educational institution, and a business? This is the conversation time. So the question will be, how do I proceed? If I want to start a social institution, a social organization, how do I proceed? Before I answer this question, I'd like you to understand that observe all big organizations. Take your time to observe them and see if we will be in the same space and the same platform. Now take note of Paritätische Verband. Paritätische Verband is an EV. EV means eingetragener Verein. It's a recognized organization here in Germany. Take note of AVO. I don't know, for some of us work also with AVO. Take note of AVO. Take note of Caritas. Take note of Diakoni. These are very big names, right? And they are all non-profit organizations. Okay. Now, many many of us, when they hear non-profit organizations, they think that being a non-profit organization means that you can't earn money, right? No, that's not how it means. That's why I started by saying take note of Caritas. Caritas is one of the biggest organization in Germany. I'm staying in Germany. I'm still in Germany. Caritas is one of the biggest employer in Germany. Then we have Diakoni. They're one of the biggest employers too in Germany. We have also AVO. We have the Paritet. They have really, they have more than how many thousands, millions of workers in these organizations, and they are non-profit. I don't know if you get this, the clue. Now, many diasporas, they don't get that clue. So they think that being a non-profit organization means that you don't have to earn any money. I remember some years back, a lady came to me and said, "Oh, Vera, I don't want to be a non-profit organization because I will not be able to get any pay. I want to be a profit, but also working non-profit organization." And I said, no, it's not, it doesn't work this way. You have to understand what profit and non-profit institution means. Now, when you go and register as if you're just doing business, the challenge is that you may not even get even the small that you are supposed to get, and you'll be paying a whole lot of taxes for nothing. Okay, now when you register your organization, which is doing all the social works and all these other works, it doesn't make you not to earn. It only says that it is non-profit because your concern of work is not to just get money, right? Your interest is the people. Your interest is the society, the community. You want to help the community. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to earn money. Now, but it doesn't also mean that you're going to steal all the money, right? And earn um, not appropriately. You know that in Germany, there is also there's also a way that you earn according to your salary, according to your academics and all these things, right? So if you're a social worker, I don't know, or you're a teacher, there's a particular level amount of money. Of course, then other things come in depending on the positions you take. If you're a leader, if you are the one doing every extra works, then of course all that money gets into it. It makes it big, right? So, but the basis is there. So you will not go to increase your basis that much so that the government comes and say, "Well, what is happening?" Right? So that's the point. Now, if we go to all other organizations, they are all non-profit because their focus is a society, the people, the citizens. That's their focus, and that's what makes it non-profit. Now, the activities they do makes it also non-profit. Now, in addition to that, you can earn. So it means that when you write your structure, your constitution, then of course in your constitution you can write it and say we're going to pay those the Geschäftsführer, like someone who's going to lead this. We're going to pay the project managers. We're going to pay all of these people, right? But you're still a non-profit according to the German system and government. But of course, you get all these people paid for the job they are doing. Right. So if you do not understand this, you will be amongst the people complaining, and they say they are helping people, but they are having money. Hey, helping people is the best job ever you can do and get a lot of money, and even do it with all your heart and all your passion, because it is work. You've been called. Not everybody can help people. So if you are called to do that, and then you understand the system, how it functions, it is legal, it is correct, it is normal that you get paid. Now, if you are here amongst the many people who love everything to be free, and we have people that have who will not even accept that that their pastors get money, or who will not even accept that the president, the president of those organizations they created get money, because according to them, no, it is non-profit. Hey, I still wonder how we think. Now you spend 20, you I spend, I mean, my husband is a testimony to that. If this work would have destroyed me, it would have destroyed us long ago, because I have 20 hours for 20 from 24 hours only around centering, so much so that I have completely turned my life around on just helping people. So my entire system, my even in my talking, even in everything I do, it is practically just like giving help to people. Now, question to you: when I spend 20 hours in giving the help to people and no one ever asks, excuse me, ma'am, how do you get paid? I mean, are you okay? Let me just ask this question: is it correct? Is it proper? So someone spends all these hours, and then you come now behind again and you're complaining. All these people doing organizational work, they're just getting people's money. Question: have you been to Avo before? I mean, why don't you go and say, Avo, they are getting and paying workers? Because Avo gets paid, her workers get paid, right? Why don't you go and say Paritet are paying workers? I mean, why do you have it hard with your fellow brother having to pay also, right? So, I mean, that was a quick difference now for those who always want to know where is really the difference. What is it? Where is the difference between when we call it non-profit organization and profit organizations? I tell most of the diasporas, you're making a whole lot of mistakes if you go directly and put yourself to be, I'm doing business. That word in Germany is totally different. It is like you do what we call the GmbH. When you have this GmbH system, it's quite different from the EV system. And when you have the GmbH system, it's again different from the GmbH system. And when you have the Einzelhand, what they call the one-man business, it's again different from the EV. You see? So I think the challenge we have is that we are not able to work with people. If we were able to work with people, we would have long understood how important it is to join forces together and start up more AFAOs. AFAOs simply mean registered organization. Usually people call it non-profit organization because it is all about helping people, right? So you're welcome. Let me welcome all those who are here. You're welcome. I can see you. If you have your questions, please ask your questions. I said today was just going to be an open conversation. I prepared no topic, but I just felt that it is important to just talk as my own gift. And if you have any questions, you can ask. And the conversation is, if knowledge is power, then the application of knowledge is your superpower. I know some of you, even listening to me, you know what I'm talking about. You've heard it, but somehow you still can't grab it. You don't know how to put the balls together, right? That's where we come in, and that's where we come in to say, hey, we can give you the tips, the tricks, but you must ask concrete case questions that really one can explain. You don't just come and say, but how do one do this, right? It will be difficult because I don't even know what you want to do, right? But if you really ask a specific question, what do I need to do this? What are the criteria and all this? Then I can ask you based on the specific question. But the general question is usually very, very difficult. Okay. So do not scare to ask your questions. If you have questions, please feel free to ask your questions. Mm, I also have the question because one never knows. When you come to this Facebook Live, many people are very scared to ask their questions. So I always bring my own question so that we can be able to work with it while waiting you to share, ask your own question. Agnes Foley say it sounds like a trick, but at the same time, it's legal. That is true, Agnes. I don't know on what relationship, but that is true. It is really like a trick, but of course it is a trick because you must know it. If you have not gone through the process, you will not even understand it, right? So that's why you have to go through it, but you don't need to go through it again when other people have really gone through it, and they're very legal. It is just that people do not have the knowledge about it. And when you do not have knowledge about something, you are dark. You are in darkness, right? You are complete darkness. And darkness is ignorance. And when you are ignorance, you scare. Everything makes you afraid, right? And when you are afraid, then you can't even further, So, yes. So I brought again another question. Do you ever honestly ask why you work so hard, yet you seem not to have that secret victory you want to have? I have gone through this, and I know that many of us are going through this. You have a secret victory. You actually want to get more. You actually want to achieve more. You actually want to help more people, but somehow you're not getting them. Then, because the world is looking at you from one other eyes, you pretend like, oh well, I'm contented. That's not life. Is not all about mundane and not all about this. You hide behind some of these words, but deep in that secret heart where no one sees, only you sees it, only you know it, you actually want more, because you actually want to help more people. You don't want more for yourself, but you want more because you want to help more people. Remember, your legacy are all the people that you have blessed. You don't even know them, right? Some people you have blessed and you just don't even know them, because you were blessed by just your smile. Someone called me some days ago, and was telling me, oh Vera, I shared your video with someone, and I got so positive feedbacks, and I was very, very happy. And then I said, but what made you happy? She said, yes, because it just confirmed what I always thought, but it was so nice to know from other people that have not even seen you physically or really spoken with you, but from distance they could appreciate that. So these are your legacies. You leave things, you influence the lives of people, even unconsciously to you. And I'm so convinced that many of us want to influence more lives. I'm so convinced that many of us want to do more things, not because of our own selves. Because the last time we had a conversation, and I said that um, you can only sleep on one bed at a time. In fact, when you come to my place, I always have the impression to say, this is really usually waste of resources. I can only use three spaces in my own home not even at a time, each time. Right? So you realize that you are not even looking anything for yourself anymore. You get to the stage where you just want to add value. So there's that secret thing within you. You want to add more value, but somehow you're not getting through it. You're not breaking the through. The question is, why? Then the answer is, maybe somewhere we are not applying knowledge, or we have not gotten the knowledge. There's a knowledge you must get so that you could break through. And if you got that knowledge, please make use of it. If you do not apply that knowledge, then there was no need. You were the same as ignorant like any other person. Let me be open and honest, right? I'm always guilty on this, but I know that yes, I'm just the same like as ignorant as someone who do not know anything. I am always wanting to lose some weight, right? But it's not on the wanting. It's not on the wanting, it is on the doing, not the wanting. The wanting you can want, everyone can want, the horse can want, everyone can want, but it is in the doing that the result comes. So we can want as much as we want, but we will not get until we start doing. So just start doing. And if you really have any information, please start putting it into practice, and you will see the changes. The miracle is not in the now just there, it is in the as you go on, you just see the transformation that takes place, right? And I'm sure that you will be blessed. So do you ever honestly ask yourself that question? What is happening? I work so hard, I devote so much time, in helping people, in teaching people. Why don't I then get that breakthrough, that financial breakthrough, that I can add more value to other people's life? That relationship breakthrough, that I can add more value to other people through my relationships, right? That economic freedom, so I can add more value to other people. Why? Right. So this is a conversation. If you know why, just put on the board down here below and let's have the conversation rolling. Bridget is here and she said, "Oh yes, your legacy is all those you have blessed." Thank you very much, ma'am. That is true. And I'm still waiting for my sweets, my granite sweets. Bridget is doing granite sweet, and oh, I was so expecting it and wishing that I would have had it today. But it's not in the wishing, it is in the doing. So I'm waiting for it. Bridget, thank you very much for the good work you're doing and reminding us of our young youth day, our childhood day back in Africa, Cameroon, precisely. Thank you so much for these good memories. You see, you're keeping and building your own legacy, right, in that area of work. And she says, "Yes, I have asked myself that time and time and now." Thank you very much. To be honest with yourself and to ask those questions, we're going to come back to that and to find out what did you find out after asking the question over and over. What was your answer? Bridget, please just put it below and let's see. Did you get an answer? Did you get a response? Um, what was your aha moment? Did you have any aha moments? Let's get your own point of view. And Agnes Foley says, "So what percentage of the earnings do you give as payment, and what remains as money for the nonprofit?" Now, this is a good question, Agnes. Thank you very much. Now, um, it all depends on the structure. There's no percentage. You don't pay according to this is your percent for this and this goes for that, and do like though you were very like a kind of stiff naked somebody with no flexibility, right? No. When you apply for a fund, let's take for example you apply for funding. In your funding, most of the time you apply for personnel cost, employee cost, and then, of course, what we call in German the Sackkosten, so cost for all the other materials. Now, if you apply for a fund and you don't put personnel, then it is your trouble because then you will be working for free. Now, not all projects are given funds. Some projects you don't get funds. Now, like the Facebook, what we are doing now, there's no funding for this. So that for those who are always thinking that we are working because we want to get some funding, for the Facebook work, what we are doing now, there's no funding. It is our own, it is my own contribution also to the general public, and also, of course, showing the works that the Sompon Social Service and the Sompon Academy has been doing so far that many people really did not know. So with the Sompon Social Global TV, it's not a platform where we come to earn money. We are using the platform to transmit our messages, to transform lives of people, and to help more people. Because after this, people go back and listen to our programs, and so they are being blessed and they're transformed. Now, let's take a specific example. We are working on a program and say we want to support men now because men have a lot of challenge. That's just an example, right? Now, you write this program and then you send to, let's take Agnes, you write the program and then you send to someone social service. Sompon Social Service is your funder, right? So Sompon Social Service is supposed to fund your project, men empowerment, right? Now, men empowerment is going to cost you maybe 20,000 euros. It's an example for the period of maybe 1 year. Okay. Now, in this 20,000 euros, you have to explicitly write there the project coordinator. Someone should coordinate that project, right? If you do not put the cost of the project coordinator, then you have a problem. Okay, because then you will be doing that job of the coordinator and will not get any fund, and then you will think that you're doing too much for the society, but actually you're not doing much, right? So thank you, ma'am. But Patimona Becky calls it talk more on overhead costs. Thank you, ma'am. So then you have to put also another part for the overhead costs. Thank you, ma'am, for the word, where you have to pay all other bills, your rent, your telephone cost, your all other bills, what you will need for that project, right? Your computer, your laptop, every other bills. And then of course there's also a part where it's for publicity. Usually they say 25, 25, 25, 25% for percent for part, right? But all depends on the project. So you can have a project where they just fund the personnel and maybe the just a part of the overhead cost. Let's say just your rent for your office, and then any other thing you do will be from your side, right? So Agnes, back to your question. I don't know if you understood, and if you don't did not, please just ask the question again, or just keep now weiter fragen, continue asking until we get to the point that you will get. Okay, so you don't have it's there's no specific percentage for it. It depends on the project, and it depends on the funder. You can come to, let's take again example. Some social service is a funder, and some social service says that we're going to fund your personnel, right? So your personnel can cost us 20,000, 60,000 euros a year. So some social services will pay for your personnel. Now, you will have to look for the overhead cost somewhere else, or you will have to put your own money into it. But then that would be very unwise again, right? Because you have to exactly use that money as I have asked you to use. If you do it otherwise, then we're going to have problems, because I also maybe got that money from the taxes. Remember, all this is tax money, right? Steuergelder, all this is tax money. So we have to get that money again from the tax. And the tax people who are giving us that money, they also want a report. So if I do not really do that correctly, then I'm going to have problems. I remember the first years when we started, and we got money, and then I'll write everything and then just give it, and then we did not even spend all of the money, and I'm so happy I'm giving report. And then there was one nice personnel in one of the institutions, I won't call the name, called me. I was so new in it. I said, no, they don't do like this. Now, if you do like this, then we have to get back our money from you, because it means you did not need this money. And what does that mean? When you ask for the funding, you have to use it for that purpose and use it all. And accept that you have again, in fact, you have to use it in that project, put it this way, right? Now, but if it's what we call the structural support, is something else again. So Agnes, I don't know if you're okay now, but if not, you can always inbox me and we can continue the conversation from there. All right. So generally, when we say 25, 25, 25, 25 for personal cost, 25 for publicity materials, publicity cost, 25 for overheads, like Batimona will say, and then the other 25 too is there, so that if something happens, you can always use. Now the question will be, what remains for the non-profit? What is non-profit? And that's where many of us have a problem. People do not understand the difference. Now, I said before, for those who came late, many people say non-profit means that you're just working and for free, and not everything is for free. And then they say profit means that yes, you're working and then the profit comes to you. I don't know how they explain that, but I had it hard to really get to understand that. But I took the example of the biggest institutions in Germany, whereby you know them very well, and maybe you think that they are doing profit work. They are all under non-profit organizations. We have the Caritas, we have the Diacony, we have the AVO, we have the we have the Paritet, where that's my band. That's where, yes, I'm very, very involved. And we have millions of money a year, but it goes for the personal cost, for overheads and all that, right? We have millions. In fact, we have lots of money as Paritet, right? But we are non-profit. Non-profit means we are doing what we call in German Gemeinwohlarbeit. It means that we are working for the community, for the society, for the people, right? And while working for the people doesn't mean that you have to go naked on the street. That's not what it means, right? It means that you need to also coordinate the work. And that's why you need also maybe cost, right? Of course, at the beginning, don't get me wrong, at the beginning, before you get into the system so that you can get to know the people and get the funds and all that, you will have to do a lot of work on a voluntary basis. That is also a part of non-profit. So that's the advantage, actually, to have it as non-profit, so that you can tell someone, we are still on the process, we are still working towards becoming stable, but up to now, we are still non-profit. Our institution, Sampo Social Service, has at least 40% or 50% is really volunteer work, because we do not want to kill the agenda and the aspect of volunteerism. For us, it is the A and amen of our institution. We can't do without volunteers. And that's why we are even recognized body now for volunteers, and we are sending people to Africa. If you are here and you want to go to Africa, or your young son is here, your daughter is here, and they want to do 1 year, want to really try 1 year and get real support for 1 year, you really don't have to do much. You just need to register your child, and we are going to bring them to Cameroon. They're going to go to one school, teach there in different schools, be a part of that system, learn the system. Hey, get in touch with us, and we will be able to help this young person. Many migrants, and especially the African people, don't usually have these informations. That's why after school, everybody wants to go to university. Hey, what the hell is that? You don't have to. Every child needs that 1 year break. That's a privilege for our children. You need 1 year break to even get to orientate yourself. And the 1 year social year, 1 year military year, 1 year development year will help this young person orientate themselves, will help this young person get to know who they are, will help this young person even have stability when they even start work, or again they start school. All right, so make use of these informations. Again, we said information is power, right? But the application of it is your superpower. So, mothers with African heritage, please encourage your children to make use of these opportunities. Most parents have not made use of these opportunities, maybe because of lack of information, but others also because they feel that Africa is a poor continent, because they come from that background, and so they think it's a poor continent. I mean, you want to give your children the best, and if you can't do it because you maybe not even have the money, get in touch with us, and we will find ways to help your young child from 9 to 18 years of age to 26 years, so that they can make use of this opportunity. We worked hard so that we could get this recognition for our own children, because we know that the German children, by the way, have all this information and making good use of the opportunities. Thank you very much. We have Auntie Agi, who is saying that unfortunately I'm late, but still good evening to everyone. Good evening, ma'am. You're welcome. Good evening, Dr. Jerry. You're welcome. I hope you're doing well, and I hope that your darling was able to make you some good food today. And thank you very much, Patimona Abeke, who said that talk more on overhead costs. Okay. Was that a question, ma'am? If that was a question, just write it again so that we get to know more. And then Madam Abeke said that advice on tax returns. Many businesses and charity organizations get messed up for not doing tax returns. Oh, this is a devil on your neck. In fact, even if you're charity organization, I just don't like the word charity, because many people think that charity, again, ma'am, it goes back to that the first conversation. When you hear charity, you think that everything is for free. Education is charity. Then we'll put education too on charity, right? So everything is not like that. Now, please, 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 please. From the very day I started the organization, Sompon Social Service, we were having just 1 cent. In fact, no cents. And even when we were working on project, and the first year, I think the first year we had what, 500 euros. I can't remember. We still did our tax declaration. Why? Because it is even the tax declaration at times that backs you up. You avoid a lot of problems. Make sure that you have what we call the bookkeeper and the Steuerberater. Please, if you remember the name in English, just write it down. Steuerberater, a consultant for taxes. Something, I think that's the name. I can't remember very well. They will help you. I have one who does all of our personnel and everything that has to do with our personnel and everything. And then every year they do the win and the losses calculations, you know, and then they bring it all together, and then they forward it to the tax financial office, or finance amt for Germans. So and exactly, for you to even get the Gemeinnützigkeit, that's what Madame Abeke is also asking. I meant the Gemeinnützigkeit, yes. For you to even get the Gemeinnützigkeit, you should have gotten it already if you're a charity organization, by the application. When you started your organization, you registered your organization, you went to the notar, then you will apply now to the financial office. They are going to, and tell them you're doing community work, charity work, non-profit organization, all these things. Then they will give you what they call the Gemeinnützigkeit. So they'll give you what makes you become non-profit. Now, they give you the first 3 years in advance, in anticipation, to see how you work. And then when you now start paying your everything, I mean, by the way, because you are even non-profit, you don't pay taxes that much. I mean, that is a fact about it. But you pay what they call Lohnsteuer for your personnels, but not taxes. No, so you pay for your personnels. There's always what they call the Lohnsteuer that you have to pay, that everyone pays. Right. So what you don't pay is like this 90% of the money that usually come for businesses and all that. Those are the taxes that come into money that usually you don't have to pay by all costs because of your non-profit right. And this, you can get it back at the end of the year when your bookkeeper or your tax advisor have done all the working. And if they find out in your paperwork that there was any if somebody gave you a receipt with that taxation on it, and the money was it's over to what you were supposed to have, or what, something like that, you can even get it back from the government, from the taxation office, because as non-profit, you must not pay those taxes, except you now this is another thing. When you're doing your organization and you do maybe a festival, now a festival may not necessarily be in line with directly with your charity work. But the festival is important because it brings in money and it makes people know more about your organizations and all that. If you sell during those days, then your tax advisor will advise you to put it at another area, right? Because it's no longer ideal non-profit, so to say. Then it goes into another sector, but your tax advisor will be able to guide on that. Now, both businesses, it's for me, I would advise diasporas especially, get into more on the area where you get the Gemeinnützigkeit. It could be GmbH. Now, Geembeha is the father, the big one. When you have it, boom, they say, okay, he's doing business, right? Who cares about that anyway? But now, you only have to pay a lot of taxes, right? At the end, because it means that the money that remains in your coffer is your gain. Hmm. Mm. And if that gain is plenty, then you have to find a way to liquidate that gain, because then you pay taxes on that gain, right? But in a non-profit, so to say, you can carry it over because the work you're doing is really for the community. So it's not your money, so to say, it's not the gain, right? And so the difference between both business, like just business, pure businesses, is the fact that you really have to go through these taxation things a lot, and then you have to be very careful. Unlike with the non-profit, that even the government, their eyes are a little closed, especially when you have what they call the Gemeinnützigkeit. You get that from the finance amt. Once you have that, some things you're really protected with some things. And I know many people who do a lot of educational work, and they are, they go and say they are a profit organization. It is good you can be, but I think that it is really, well, you can do as you choose to do, but for me, it's not really necessary. I won't even waste my time on that because there are many other possibilities. But just like I said, go to the website of these big organizations, that you will see that you will be wasting a lot of resources to put your organization, your structure, your business all under business, at its like business, and then at the end of the day, year one is expecting you to pay so much, right? So you better put it on that non-profit, and then maybe you use all the money and still do other things. Now let's take the other form of GmbH. GmbH means Gemeinnützig Gesellschaft, blah blah blah, right? Now, it has the form. I'm talking to those who are in Germany, okay? To those who are in Germany, so they will understand what I mean. Now, the e.V., eingetragene Verein, is simple. Everyone knows that one. Now, then we have the GmbH. Now, you see, Gemeinnützig is there, right? It means that you can also do non-profit works. Now, the difference between both is that with a e.V., you don't have to have any money in the account, but the GmbH, you have to have at least 12,500 euros, right, into the account. And but it's still for your use, the use of the organization and all that. And with the GmbH, two people are enough. So you don't need all the seven people. So you can just start your business, you and your husband, and there is a GmbH, and it is a gemeinnützig, which means that now this is a trick again. You get, if the money comes in, you pay yourself, you pay your partner, you pay your employees, whatever. If there's any gain and any interest seeming to be, you can still do projects with it, right? So that, remember, the Gemeinnützigkeit means you can give back to the community. So you will still do a lot of work with it, right? Unlike when it's just a GmbH or the einzelne Geschäftsmenschen people, when you have your own business, you really have to now give that money. Either you give that balance to me, to some social service, so that we can continue the work, and then we'll give you a story. We'll give you a paper where you can go and declare to the tax that you gave us your money, okay? And then you get back some small things. You see, that's this confusion I don't want. There's no need for that, okay? So this is the information you're getting today. There's no need to start up a business when you don't even when it's not even bringing anything, for that matter, for now. It's better you start up a file or a GmbH, whereby you can still use that money to add value to the lives of people, even if it were seeming to be gains. Okay. And you will still be doing a lot of good in the society, and you can pay for yourself. Now, when you're paying for yourself, it means that it doesn't, you have to have it on your Zatum, on your constitution. It has to be written on your constitution that we are going to have workers, right? And so you have to make sure that you are one of the workers. Now, if you are the CEO, then of course you should get money. You should get good money, because managing an organization with lots of project in it is not easy. You deserve to get lots of money. right? And amazingly, if you think you want to leave the money in the account, the people who give you the money will ask you the how it goes. If you don't explain, then you have to pay back the money. So it will be very foolish if you get the money that you've worked so hard for it and then don't pay yourself. But the payment should be legal. It should be registered that you are an employee on your own in your own organization. That's a quote gesagt. The short form, you are an employee in your own organization, and then you pay yourself for that. Ask any other business people, they do the same. So we should learn that, and if we do that very well, we will not have any cause to worry ourselves, and it will not be that you're doing anything evil. Okay, so for those who are always saying, but they say they are non-profit, how come they have money? How would they don't have money? Excuse me. How no? How should they not have the money? I mean, if somebody writes projects for 1 million euros a year, 2 million euros a year, what should they do with that money? Excuse me. I mean, do you get what I mean? So you have to pay personnel. If you get that amount of money, then you have to pay personnel, and you too are personnel, right? So you don't want to pay other personnel, and you are bringing in the money, and you don't have the money because you think that you're doing good for the society. I mean, have you heard the phrase that says, "He who adds value to people should be able to also receive the gift of it"? That's the additional value that you get for adding value to the lives of people, just like what I'm doing this evening. So actually, Barcelona Becker should have called me and then send me a good gift. Of course, she's always doing that, but send me a gift. I say, hey, this is a gift. Just get this to get yourself some petrol in your car, right? And that is a gift. So I will not need to even say I'm writing a check for her, or I'm writing her a receipt, right? This is how we do to also continue business. Okay. If you got anything today, just write down below and let's see, and let's keep on the conversation rolling. And thank you very much. I hope that the question was answered, Patimona. And sharing that she says, thanks for your support always. Thank you, ma'am, for being there. And thank you for also always supporting. And I appreciate the good work that you're doing. And that's also love what you're doing, right? So that's love what you're doing, and that's amazing, great agape love. And thank you for loving the people that much that you're intervening in their lives. I'm very sure that when men will hear your program, they will love it more, and they will come to understand that we are wanting to work together and not against one another. Thank you. And our historian, Dr. Jerry, happy Vera's Day. So you can put your name. So if you want to say Valentine is good, but me, I say Vera's Day. You know, the guy Valentine did amazing job, and that's why we are celebrating him today. But me too, I'm doing an amazing job, so I have to celebrate myself too, right? And I tap myself on the shoulder. I say, hey, we're doing the great job. And you to tap yourself on your shoulder. So you know there was a lizard, and when the lizard falls down, he always nods his head. And you know what it means? He like, if no one see it, I see it myself. I've done a good job, right? So time and again, nod yourself and say, hey, ma'am, you've done a good job. And then you take, your drink and then sip it to yourself and just thank God for your own life, right? Thank you very much, Dr. Jerry, who says nothing is for free. Everything is freely given to us, and at the same time really not free, right? That is true. Somehow I don't only want us to go out of the box of volunteerism. Germany was built in volunteerism. Our countries, we know that we don't really have, especially in Cameroon in particular, we don't have a very good social system. So we should really depend on volunteerism to help our neighbors and ourselves. So we can't not continue to think that everything should be paid. I'm not advocating for that everything should be paid, but I know that we have to respect the services of people. If someone is offering a service, that we should be able to pay for that service. And then, especially here in Germany, in Europe, when you write a lot of projects, then some projects, some people you don't even have to pay for those services. You just need to use those services. And you know what? I want us to start encouraging ourselves. I want us to start using our own services and appreciating ourselves. How would that be if we just start, we create a circle? I know that I've started that with some amazing women, amazing people, but what if it increase, it grows up, that we work amongst ourselves so much so that when we get contract, we share the contract amongst ourselves? Would that not be an amazing thing? Think about it. We have to get out of that, and we should not always want to have everything for free, but we should also think that we must by all means get things from people paid, right? So we should be in a balance, get a balance. So Dr. Jerry, I understand your point of view, and I know that, hey, my historians, it's amazing thing you study history, and we need your knowledge. So therefore, when we get you involved in programs, in projects, we know there's a need to say, hey, yes, of course, we get to have your back on that. But we also wonder, when we say, hey, there's no money, because it's not funded, that we should say, hey, we still have your back, right? So this is the balance that we want, the balance that we can call one of us and say, can you do this job? A job that would have cost even maybe 5,000 euros, and you do it for nothing. And then another job that would have cost nothing, and you get even more than the 5,000, because we are working based on trust and knowing that we are having each and everyone our back. If we do that, we're going to get very, very far. Trust me. Ma'am Abeke, thank you. But Mona Abeke says you are doing an amazing job. Very respect. Thank you for creating awareness to awaken our people. Hey, I'm not doing that alone. We are doing that all together. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you. And Idrissa, these are all my colleagues. They are social workers. I'm loving the fact that the social workers are gathering themselves together. We're going to be the ones to teach our people, help our people, and mentor our people. And we will continue doing this work together. Idrissa Omer says, you're doing great. That's amazing job. God bless you. God bless you, my brother. Thank you very much for always being here. 1 hour goes too fast, and then it is almost coming to an end, and I'm sure that you have so many questions within you. You know what? We're going to be doing a program. If you have any questions relating to how to start up your own organization, how, if you should do a non-profit, how it goes, please do not shy to ask your questions. Don't be the of I know everything, and then you scare and you run away, and then you don't do anything at the end because of fear. Make sure you get involved. Ask us questions. At times you may ask the questions, you don't have the immediate answer at that same time. It doesn't mean that you should give up. No, ask again. Always remember, when you ask questions, others are also asking questions. You're not alone on the list. You're not alone in this world. And you're not the only centered person that everything should center around you, right? So why asking? Please always give us time, knowing that other people too are asking questions, and that I only have two eyes, one nose, one mouth, one head, just like you. And I can only tackle that much. And only 24 hours also I have to do all the works that we must do, right? So today I thought of giving you this time and sharing with you the experiences we've gone through. And I know that most of you want to start up something. Please don't get discouraged. Usually, because of lack of information, we get discouraged. Do not get discouraged. A lot of opportunities are out there. Don't make some mistakes. And this is a time for you to build that legacy you have always wanted to build. And so please make sure you get in touch with us. This was my own way to say, I love you so much. And apart from the love of Jesus Christ, who loved us unconditionally, I also love you so much. And that's why I took time to have this conversation with you. Now that you know you've gotten some information, please, I said information is power, but you know what? The application of the knowledge is your superpower. Make sure you use your superpower so that you can be able to make the best out of it. I wish you a very beautiful evening. For those who are having their partners, make some good coffee and tea, relax, and then watch a nice movie together. Tell one another how much you love them. So I use this platform to say thank you to all those that I really love me. I appreciate you all. Thank you, Mesmer Mwafo, for your unconditional service, love, and care. Thank you to my husband, Richard Anthony Sompon, for your unconditional love. I'm so grateful because I know that it is not easy to be with someone who is always walking all around. Thank you very much. And thank you to my children, Ephraim Kaji Sompon, Princess Hope Sompon, for their understanding. And thank you for all of you. Thank you, Maggie Eno, for your support. Thank you, Batimona Becker, for your support. Thank you, Cornelia Hessian, for your support. Mary De Caro, Agnes, Brigitte, all of you, Dr. Jerry, who are always here. I appreciate you so very much. And remember, I am because you are. I wish you a nice evening. God bless you. We meet again. Tomorrow is another day, another conversation with my colleague Elvis Bolifo. And God bless you. Bye.